Welcome into another Old Two World post-game press conference here with players from Colorado Quandary. Can I get names and pronouns from folks, please?
My name is Annie Gahagan, she, her pronouns.
My name's Liana Bradley, she, her.
And I'm Kenny, they, them.
Tough loss in the final to UNC Pleiades, but let's not talk about the actual result. Let's talk about the fact that it's now back-to-back finals for Quandary. Only three losses on the season, two of them to UNC. What does it mean for this Quandary program to be back at the just tippy top of the division, number 2 seed, finishing second overall?
I think it's a really respectable place to be, and I think we feel really proud of where we ended up. And also, it really hurts to have this goal of wanting to come out on top and wanting to show everyone in the division, and really mostly ourselves, that we are the best team in the division, and to fall short, to really explicitly make that a goal and to fail, that is really hard. But we're also really proud of what we've done this season.
Yeah, I think we're super proud as a program to have created this base and expectation that we will get to this goal, but obviously we have a bigger goal in mind that we didn't meet this year. I think this weekend we had a lot of really beautiful moments, and this is tough though to end, just be vulnerable of not reaching that goal.
Yeah, I think something we just really wanted to work on as a team was last year being one team and this year being a completely new team, but still having this goal at the end of winning. And we had 10 rookies come in this year, and that's a huge amount of turnover. And it was really important to us to make sure that they were getting this amazing Quandary experience and getting to play in these big games and becoming part of this team, and not living up to that old team that was 2022, but being part of this 2023 team and bringing them into that final goal of trying to win. And even though we fell short, we think that we accomplished that goal of becoming still a great team, no matter who's on here.
Yeah, and as you said, bringing in a lot of rookies, still plenty of veteran talent on this Quandary team. What's it been like to both integrate the new folks and have those veteran leaders continuing to lead this Colorado program, again, year after year so far, with so much success the last few years?
Forgot the question.
Yeah, I think something really special at college ultimate, and honestly a university like Colorado, is that you're able to have this mix of very experienced, we have club players and players on U24s, and then also come into people that we had a few players that had never played ultimate before, and I think it's such a valuable experience to have that combination and be able to merge it too. And I think we are going to be really feeling the loss of those seniors, but also knowing that those rookies were really impacted by some amazing players. I'm just going to shout out all the people graduating this year, and that's really impactful. And then also know that our rookies were very excited though too, for them to have this experience and come to finals too.
And I think it was such an interesting year because, like Liana said, we brought on so many new players. And so at the beginning of the year, there was quite a divide between these really seasoned veterans and these, brand new players to the team, some of whom had never even played Frisbee before. But as the season went on and as we formed our we evolved together and we created this team identity, and we decided as a group, who are we going to be this year? That gap, diminished, and we came together as a group of people. And coming into this weekend, we knew how powerful we were, and we just wanted to really show ourselves. And so, I think at the beginning, those new players had to kind of trust what that was like to be on this stage last year for those older players. And, all those players could, tell them what it felt like. But, they actually got to be here this year. And, having that happen again, having, us be in the finals the second year, we have more players who want that even more after falling short 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I think that every year you have turnover in college, unlike club, and knowing who we're graduating and knowing who we took on, I think we're in great hands. And I think that it always stings to lose a graduating class, but after last season, we're losing some big names for our team, and people stepped up and brought us back to this final. And I know that the people that are going to come up next year, everyone's going to rise to the occasion, and this team can still accomplish these great things, and we'll still have these huge goals in the future.
Are there any individuals in particular you'd highlight as players who really made a big step up into occupy some of the roles that some of the players who left the team left behind?
I mean, I think to start off, I think Bailey Shigley has been this huge rock for this team. Last year after her injury, she took some time off, and I think that just really propelled her forward as soon as she got back. She was involved every day of practice. She was doing stuff behind the scenes. She was working with coaches. She called lines at nationals last year, and I think we wouldn't be in this final without her before she was playing and now playing. So I think that was a huge role for her. Sai, I think Sai had an incredible club season, and then coming into college, we were just so excited to see what she could do in college. And I think she stepped up into this huge role of handling when she was a cutter last year. And Sai's just been another massive rock on and off the field for Quandary for sure.
Even just thinking of players who were freshmen last year and in their sophomore year really took up a bigger role in space. So like Willie or Emma Williamson and Abby and Rose Bransford. I feel like those are 3 players I can think of that this season are like, wow, those people are coming into big shoes to fill, but really stepped up and helped us, reach a final, which is incredible.
Yeah, and then I think from a culture perspective, Emma Courtwright or Corn really has been such a rock for us, such a person of heart and love and kindness and inclusivity on this team, and that is, I think, who we want to be as a program as long as we're around, is a place where everyone feels accepted and loved and welcomed and can be exactly who they are. And I think Corn has made such a difference in making space for everyone, making everyone feel seen and loved and validated, and we're going to really miss them next year.
Looking at today's game, one of the things that we were talking a lot about, I think a lot of people have been bringing up, are the conditions. Playing on turf, with it being really hot out, how much do you think that impacted you today, and how did you try and overcome those challenges?
I mean, yeah, it was hot out there. It was, a matter of staying hydrated, keeping electrolytes in our bodies, getting the sugars, and I think it played a role. But I also think we kind of knew what to expect after last year. Very similar conditions last year in Milwaukee, late afternoon game, and I think that it was more that I don't really know yet. I don't really know yet kind of what went down, but I'll just speak for myself that I think we didn't quite come out with our game today, and I don't know kind of what to attribute that to, but yeah.
I would say that the conditions compared to last year were similar, but if anything they were a little bit better this year. Not as hot, not as windy, so we're never gonna blame the conditions on how we play and the result of our game. And at the end of the day, we didn't play our game, and we had an amazing sideline that was supporting us. We had parents. So I just think that it's not really the conditions, it's more about us and how we played as a team.
Yeah, I think we always have the motto, all about us, and when whether it's conditions are bad or you're not always focusing on kind of the things you can't control your opponent, you can't control those conditions, and I think we did maybe get off our game, and maybe it wasn't all about us in some moments and play our game, but that's it.
This was a UNC team that you all have had a chance to see before, obviously played in the finals as well last year. They have a lot of continuity from last year. What was kind of your points of emphasis as a game plan for coming into matching up with them in the final?
A couple tactical or strategic points that we were focused on were making sort of testing their deep game and trying not to let them churn those unders as they do so well. Specifically trying to keep someone kind of within a few yards of that front cone of the end zone, because that's where they tend to score a lot of their points, and make them have a few players who typically don't get as involved, you know, make those players score the points rather than the few who score a large majority of the points. We had specific matchups, based on skill and size and speed and all of those qualities. And yeah, I would say.
I mean, yeah, you could get really into the data and look at the nitty gritty. I think if we could sum it up into one sentence, would just be make them play something that isn't their game, which is small ball and then deep ball done. So that was really, I think, our emphasis overall. And yeah, exploiting matchups on turns, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think we did that to a degree, and then we just kind of stopped, and we were kind of allowing them to play their game at some points when it should have been our game.
I want to circle back because you were talking previously about winning this game and winning a championship as an explicit goal for the team. And from my perspective, I feel like I see a lot of Ultimate teams shy away from setting that type of outcome goal as something they're focused on for the season. Why did Quandary feel like that was the right fit for setting your goals this year?
Yeah, I think you can have one overarching goal as that, and it's really powerful. It's really vulnerable to have something like that big, and I think not every team does that, and there's different reasons. But I think for us, it was trying to harness that energy, that collective trust and belief amongst an entire team throughout a whole season, and have that. I think though with that as our big goal, we had a lot of goals along the way that were smaller than that, and you can't always talk to them, but like ones that whether it's culture related or like smaller ones, there's little things along the way that still meet that big goal. But it is true, we had that there, and I think you really put yourself out there and putting that there, because at the end of the day there's only one team that can win a national championship, and there's 20 teams at nationals, and so I think that was our goal, and obviously didn't meet it, but I think we still stand really proud of that and hold that.
I also think that it shows a commitment to believing in ourselves as individuals and as a team, to voice that and to speak it into the world, and to have something that we are looking towards and that we are working for every time we step out on the field. And in Colorado, the winter is tough, and we practice late at night, and the wind can be fierce and the temperature's low, and we still come out there, and we're out there working for each other through those conditions, knowing that this is something that we want as a group. And I think that it's just really, really, really vulnerable and really, really meaningful to set a goal that we know is going to be really tough to meet. And so I feel really proud of us for sticking to that and believing in ourselves and believing in this despite the actual outcome at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that we started off this season really early with this goal of winning, and then we revisited after the fall semester, and we still said our goal is still to win. But after our loss at Stanford, that was a tough loss. We came back together, and we realized that if we played as this team, then the win will follow. So I think our true goal in our hearts was playing as Quandary, and then anything that came after that was a gift. And so I think that when we played the Stanford game in pool play, getting 4 breaks in a row to win that game was playing with the heart that this team has, and that propelled us to this game. And even though we fell short, I think that having that goal of being Quandary and being this beautiful group of queer people, of happy people that love each other and have this huge support system is the best you could ask for, even with a loss like this.
With a goal like winning a title, I have to imagine that you had to consider that it was probable that you'd run into a team like UNC along the way. Do you feel any sense of rivalry with them, having played a couple of years? Do you feel like they're a team that pushes Quandary to get better?
What was the end of that? Sorry.
Do you feel like the strength of UNC pushes your team to get better, or is it not something you really take much time to think about?
Yeah, I think when we reevaluated our end of season goals of instead of it being to beat UNC and to win the title against them, I think instead was to play as our team. So that's why, we have this cheer all about us. And so while the rivalry is fun and I'm sure it's fun to watch and it's a fun storyline just for everyone that gets to watch us play, I think that this team, we're still going to have this goal of winning. Maybe it's next year, who knows when. But if that team isn't UNC that we beat next year, it's still going to be a win, and we'll take it. So while the storyline is great, it's really the championship that we want.
All right, well, that will do it for Colorado Quandary. We'll wrap it up for the Ultra World Press Conference, and we'll see you in just a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to another Old to World press conference at the end of the women's final here with three UNC Pleiades players. Three champions. Can I get names and pronouns from folks, please?
My name is Alex Barnett.
I'm Sydney Rader.
Ella Youngst.
3-time champions and in comprehensive style. This has not necessarily become the norm, but after the semi versus Vermont, this has become now back-to-back 15-8 games to end this tournament. What helps y'all put on such incredible second half runs?
To be honest, I didn't know that was the score. But I think our team's depth is what makes us excel in the second half. Our ability to put on multiple different people on multiple different lines means that other teams just can't keep up with us in the second half.
Yeah, we like to say that pressure breaks pipes. Sometimes, teams can hang with us in the first half, but our depth goes beyond every other team in the division, and that's why we can pull away in the second half.
If you can afford to keep superstars like Dawn Colton off the field in the second half of a championship game, you're a really, really lucky team.
And let's talk about the run to this third straight title. Closest game of the season came in the quarterfinals against Stanford. That was the 3-point win. Other than that, no one else had come closer than 4 with Vermont and Tufts. Again, it's in dominant fashion, and it sometimes looks like y'all are able to just walk it up the field, especially against zone defenses. Alex, in particular, you tend to run the show for the offensive line. Tell me about what it's like to play with the Pleiades O-line.
It's amazing. I've never played Frisbee like that ever anywhere else. It's it's magic, we write these love notes to each other, and Ella and I both wrote in to each other the term mind meld, which is a crazy meta instance of us mind melding. But it's just what it's like we all know exactly what each other wants, and you just trust every single person on the field to know exactly what each other wants. It's magical. It's really a very special feeling.
Yeah, and then on top of all of that, we knew coming into this tournament that teams were likely going to throw a lot of zone on us. If they feel that they can't match up person to person, that's the look. And so, the week before nationals, we're out there in a practice, repping against every zone that we've seen a team play. So to, having those reps before the tournament, we just feel fully confident against any other team zone that we might face.
Yeah, and speaking of reps, there has been so much continuity amongst your team, especially over the past 3 seasons. I can only imagine the kind of chemistry that has been built over the years. So can you talk about what it's been like to essentially play with largely the same group of people? I know that they were rookies, but 5-6 rookies this year, not that many, all things considered, for a full college team.
You want it? I think we're really lucky to have a lot of people stay around. I think our program builds a culture of buy-in and just makes people want to stick around longer. Me and Ella are 5th years, Alex is a 6th year. Clearly, we are the examples for that. Pleiades is a place that people want to stay for a long time, and I think it's our culture and our friendship and our teammates that make us stay.
Yeah, then as far as playing with the rookies, it's been a blast. They rock. They're really, really good. They were getting legitimate points in important bracket games. That is crazy. For playing for 8 months, we are so lucky. We're drawing from this huge pool of really athletic, bought in, really great people, and we're just really lucky to be able to spend time with them and get to see them grow, and I know that they're going to do great things in the future.
Speaking of the future, I only have 1 ring. You all have 3. Aren't you bored yet? What does it feel like to win 3 in a row?
Never bored. I don't know. I think I've thought about that a lot. I think people say that a lot. Aren't you isn't it boring, whatever? But every year it's a new team. Every year it's a new journey, and every year we get to fight through all those battles with some of the same people. But it's a new story every time, and we're all very competitive people. It never gets old winning. We love that. But I think anyone on this team would say the process of all of those practices, grinding 4 nights a week, that doesn't get old, because that's the best part.
Frisbee is just fun. We obviously want to win, but our thing going into this game was just have fun. We already did all the hard work. I think that's what makes our team so successful, is that we're out there enjoying ourselves and having fun on the field.
Y'all covered it. That's it.
So along those lines, do you ever, obviously the team puts in a ton of work. I think people know that pretty well. The team's incredibly well prepared. Do you ever feel like the temptation to dial it back and know like, hey, we're beating teams handily right now. Like, do we have to do all of this to be this team?
I have never had that thought.
No.
We like doing the work. We like the grind. So, yeah, I don't think anyone on this team would ever choose that.
Yeah, I think one of the most special parts of Pleiades culture is like that pursuit of excellence, and we really focus on the process, and the process is fun. Writing scouting docs, fun. Practicing opponents' zones, fun. You know, like the people who are doing that, like we had a line that called themselves the Annoy O-line right before nationals, and their whole thing was to get in our face and to push us around and make us, just make us ticked off, and they had a great time with it, and it's all like these little things that we do that makes us so good that we really take pride in and we have a lot of fun doing. It's fun to work this hard. It really is, especially when it's for something so meaningful.
Well, over the past 2 games, I think you've come across these crowds, and a lot of times they're rooting for the other teams, the underdogs, to come up and beat you. How does it feel to kind of be in the villain role, so to speak, in some of these big games?
To be honest, I don't really notice it. It's really loud in the stadium, and we cheer a lot of the same cheers as other teams. So it kind of just sounds like everyone's cheering for us, which is nice.
Yeah, the crowd is loud, but Dark Side is louder.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know. I don't feel like the villain. How am I the villain? I'm having so much fun. I don't know. Like it's just like great to be out here, and like, I don't know. People can cheer against us as much as they want, but I don't feel like people are taking it. I don't think it's a personal thing. Like, we play really, really good Ultimate, and we are a really deep team, and I think that, like, honestly, people should be like very, I don't know, excited for this. This is good for the sport, I think. I think that, like, if other teams can start taking it as seriously and still having as much fun as we do, I think that's really cool.
I wanted to ask specifically about the performance of Erica Birdsong this year. She's a player who a lot of us have seen has played extremely well this year and is still so young. Can you talk a little bit about Erica's development and how she contributed to this title?
Yeah, I mean, Erica was great last year. She started on her O-line last year. She came back this summer and was just on a whole new level this fall. Like, she absolutely grinded this summer, playing U20 and playing O-Zone. And came back in the fall, and we were all like, holy smokes, like, Erica is a star. And so obviously, like, she's grown into a really big role on our team this year. And yeah, she is not afraid of the moment. She will make the play. I have so much trust in her, as I do with many people on this team, but she really, I think, embodies like everything that Pleiades is. And yeah, she is the future.
For sure, yeah, I'm her #1 fan. I mean, like, I think the thing that she came back with this year was confidence. She came back with a lot of confidence. She always had the skills, and she's like, I don't know, she's got the height, she's got the talent, she's got the throws, she's got everything, and then just like to come back and for her to own it, like, and for us to like just trust her in those big roles, it's really cool to watch that, and we're really lucky to have her in the future.
Alex, this next question's for you. Obviously, this championship was a whole team performance, but you were a Pleiades Callahan nominee for this season. Can you talk about what that honor means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I was so honored to be the Pleiades Callahan nominee this year, especially on a team where really every person deserves that award. Like, every person puts in that amount of time and effort and love and care into the team. And I think it's like, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, y'all are Ulti World. You're always telling me that I'm not that flashy, not that interesting, So for the team to pick me, it felt personal. I don't know. Like, I feel really lucky to be on a team that like has the time to be able to appreciate those things, and like, I don't know, it feels really cool to be part of just something special, and for my teammates to recognize that. I mean, everyone on this team deserves like that award. So I don't know.
One more question for you, Alex, and then a second follow-up to the group. You're 6th year. When you joined UNC, this was not a three-peat winning team. What have you seen from the growth of the team? And the second part, for all of you, what do you see for the growth of the Pleiades going forward? Could we be coming back in, say, 2 years' time, talking about the 5-time reigning champion Pleiades?
I think yes. Yeah. I mean, like, this team has shown just like consistent exponential growth, and a lot of it has to do with the support that we get from coaches, from alum, from families. You know, like we have that snack table that Darkseid has now. You know, we have community members who care so much about us. We have such consistent, like, amazing coaches. If y'all don't give them Coach of the Year this year, I don't know. I'm sure it gets boring to give that to them every year, but Jessie Jones is the best coach to ever coach Women's Ultimate. Come on, like I don't know. We're so lucky to have such consistent, awesome coaches, and I think that because of that, we'll just keep building championship teams. I think we're really lucky, and the future looks really bright.
I think Pleiades is just a really special place to be, and like being a rookie on this team and winning a national championship, like they're not going to forget that feeling. They're going to be chasing that for their entire college career. So I have absolute complete faith that they are going to do everything in their power to win another natty.
Yeah, and I think we have a lot of really young talent on this team. Like, you know, you mentioned Erica, but there's a lot of like up and coming stars that are about to take over the division next year. So yeah, I mean, 5-time champ sounds pretty good to me.
All right, well, congratulations on being 3-time champs. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.